Today, we're taking a look at Acorn, and we're going to watch some of his games to see how he won the solo cash cup. But just before we get into that, I have a coaching Discord server. It's completely free to join, and I'll leave the link to it down in the description. So right here, Acorn spots his opponent, and they just like tag each other. Acorn hits him for 100, and he wants to take this early game fight to set him up well for the rest of the game, because his loot isn't the craziest. I mean, he has good movement, he has good heals, but he still has a grey pump, so I think he wants to get a better shotgun. And also, the kills are worth 3 points in finals, so any kill he gets is going to really help him to push his way up the leaderboard. So he builds up here, gets high ground above the opponent, drops down onto this really good angle, you know, fighting from above on this diagonal piece, trying to claim this wall with his right hand peek. And he's just smacking. The other guy's not even facing him, so you know this guy's going to be not very good. Acorn takes the wall, shotguns to break the cone as he edits it. The guy actually makes it out the box before he can hit any shots on him. Acorn jumps down and around to the other side. And just like I've said in a lot of my videos, he's doing this diagonal box fighting on this right hand peek, very safe angle. And now he sees the opponent has run back into this box. So he's going to play more aggressive here. Just run straight over. The opponent actually misses his shotgun, so it's a really easy kill here for Acorn. Just sprays through, gets the cone, and finishes the fight. So moving on to the mid game now, Acorn has a really good loadout. As you can see here, he's got the drum gun, one of the best weapons in the game. He has a purple shotgun, good meds, and mobility. So if I was him, I'd play dead side now, I'd play for the end game, and I wouldn't be taking mid game fights. But Acorn has different ideas. He starts taking this fight with Skater, which honestly ends up leading nowhere, right? He went into this with cap mats, great loot, and if we skip forward, you'll see what happens. This fight drags out for so long that Acorn now has 10 builds, no more heals, and neither player has won from this fight. Like, no one's gained anything from this fight, and it was basically just griefing each other for no reason. So Acorn could have easily avoided this fight. He had really good loot before he took this, and now he's kind of scuffed his own game by doing this. So my advice would be, once you get to a game-winning loadout where you have the heals, you have the mobility, you've got good weapons, then just stop taking mid-game fights. Start playing for the win and playing for the end game. So Acorn is forced to head into zone now to try and find some loot and recover this game. So as he's making his way in, he looks over to the right, sees this other guy, and because he has this drum gun, makes for a really easy beam, and he's able to find a kill onto that guy. So this is sort of the refresh he needed to save this game. As you can see now, he's got cap mats, decent loadout, but the only bad thing about this is the zone has pulled really far. So like, if you looked at this situation here, you'd think his game's over, right? Zone's pulled max, he's going to be on congested side, and all of this could have been completely avoided by just not taking that mid-game fight with Skater. So Acorn makes his way into this new zone. Lucky enough, he found 3 medkits on that kill that he got back in Storm, so he's able to get in safely. And now the 7th zone is pulled right next to him, as you can see here. Acorn's boxed up, the zone is really close, but there's so many people on this edge, so it's not a good decision for him to run in like this onto this edge. Instead, he's going to wait for the zone to open up a bit more and then rotate from there. So Acorn makes his way out of his box, blocking behind him so he can't get shot in the back. And as you can see here, the zone is expanding to the side as Acorn's wrapping around. So he's moving through this expanding side of zone to make his way into this zone. And this is really good because there's obviously going to be nobody in this area because that's where the zone is expanding. So just wraps around the edge into the expanding side, and now he's in a great position, right? If we take a look at this zone, Acorn is here. He's just wrapped around from like here, like this, as the zone opened up. And now if the zone was to pull anywhere on this south side, like if the zone pulled here, all he has to do is wrap the dead side, and he gets the freest rotate ever just because of where he's positioned. If Acorn had just white lined from here into zone, then he's in all of this congestion with all of these other players, and that makes every rotate after this really hard to do, and he's going to struggle with those next zones. So now Acorn's positioned himself in the zone. He's going to look back and try and get some kills. This is very important in solos because the kills are worth a lot of points. 2 points in opens, 3 points in finals. So Acorn hits some good tags here onto this player down below, and he's going to play quite aggressive for this kill. Lovely angle there, just spraying through, gets the kill, and finds the loot to bring him up to over 1,000 mats. So now there's 2 seconds left until this zone closes, and as we talked about earlier, this dead side down here, Acorn knows about this. He wants to head into this area early in case the zone pulls anywhere down here. So this is what he does. He runs up here, heading into this dead side. But as you can see, the zone pulls back the other way. So doesn't end up following through with that plan. He's going to come back down this way to the new zone. Now the zone starts pulling and Acorn's already scouting ahead, and he starts to rotate early. This is really important because he wants to get ahead of everyone else in this game. So he's scouting ahead, just looking at this rotate, and he's going early again. You see the zone is nowhere near him on the backside, but he just wants to get ahead, get into this new zone before the rest of the lobby does. And that way he's in a good position now where he can stagger and look back for kills. So if we just zoom out here a bit, as you can see, Acorn on this front side just positioned inside the new zone. And there's still all of these people back here that have to rotate in. So Acorn is in a really good position to look back and look for kills onto all of these players. Now another thing to note is once we get into these moving zones, this 9th zone and onwards, Acorn starts to layer up a bit, getting off of that low ground and positioning himself just a few layers above that. So he's not getting buried down there, he's not getting griefed by all the shambles kids on low ground. This also makes it a lot easier for his next rotates as he's higher up. He has that elevation, he can scout better, and he's just on less congested layers, so it's easier to get through. Now, the one thing I like so much about this endgame is how Acorn is just focused so much on staying ahead of the zone. You see, he's not staying on backside, he's not really fighting too much back there. He's just fully focused on his positioning and staying ahead of these moving zones. So now he's running low on mats, only 200 wood left, but he has that positioning, he's on the front side, and he's able to look back and find these kills. And now, lucky for him, the zone pulls towards these bodies. He's able to run over there, pick up the mats, and find the refresh that he needed. Now, once again, he's just fully on front side, rotating towards the zone, tarping his way through, and in a really good position here. So he's able just to look back and find these kills. Everyone else is lurking backside, really scuffed, fighting each other. And Acorn's just fully focused on this positioning. This other guy jumps up to him, gets the siphon mats off of that, and now he's able to build a box on his way to this new zone. Now it's down to a 1v1v1. 3 very good players, Acorn, Iomzo, and Muzz. Acorn has barely any builds here. He's going to have to try and take the fight to Iomzo. Only hits a 30 shot there with the Mythic Pump. Almost takes down Iomzo, but it's just not quite enough. So he goes down in 3rd place. Still a very good game. A 3rd place with 10 kills. That is a lot of points in this format. So moving on to the next game now. Acorn's just in the mid game. He's heard this guy shooting in the bush. So he's just going to lurk around here for a minute. Wait for the right opportunity to shoot this guy. Only hits a 30 tag, but he's really aggressive here. Pushing over, trying to take the fight. Just playing from the tops. I like this angle a lot. The replay lags, and he's somehow hitting for 80. Got him full boxed. But as you can see, Acorn is now 1 pumpable. He's only 97 health. Even though the other opponent is 1 HP, Acorn's going to do the right choice here. Play it safe. And just heal up a little bit. That way he doesn't just die with 1 pump shot. Now he's using that gold splash effect just to fully swing his pickaxe. Try to get in there. Now he's going to jump down onto the opponent's wall. Pickaxe it once. And then instantly bring out his pump shotgun. Aim at the opponent. And hit the smallest amount of damage he needs to, just to finish that fight. So now Acorn has a pretty solid loadout. He's got the splashes, he has the bat, he has decent weapons, and he has decent mats. So right now, if I was him, I'd try and play dead side and play for endgame. But that is not what Acorn does. He decides to take these mid-game fights over here. So now, a couple minutes later, Acorn's tried to take these mid-game fights. His loadout is completely griefed. He doesn't have the splashes anymore. He has about half the mats that he did a couple minutes ago, and almost greased his game by doing this. So after those 2 kills, Acorn sort of has a decent loadout now. He's upgraded his weapons a bit from those kills. He's got a chug jug, but he's lost half his mats and he doesn't have the splashes anymore. So I don't know if these fights were really worth taking. There was a risk there of him dying and losing this game, of course, but he has gained 6 points from those 2 kills. So it's sort of a win-lose situation, you know, positives and negatives. But now he's going to play on the south side over here. He's in the dead side. And he has all of this space around him where he can farm up his mats again. So now, as you can see, Acorn ends up sitting in this box right here for like 10 minutes straight. He sits here for like 3 zones. Basically goes AFK, right? He doesn't need to do anything. He has his loadout sorted, and he's playing for the end game. So the 6th zone has just pulled, and Acorn goes instantly. Within like a second of this zone appearing, Acorn's going to start rotating. Goes under the bridge here. Has a very easy rotate. Basically just white lines it in. So as we can see here, Acorn has gone a bit deeper in. He's boxed up on this little hill. And the reason he didn't box up along this edge is because he wants priority over anyone on this edge. So what this means is, if the zone was to pull this way, then Acorn doesn't have to wait for the people in front of him to go. So if he had boxed up here, he'd have to wait for everyone in front of him over this area to rotate first, because otherwise they're just going to hold him and he doesn't have a safe rotate. However, now he's deeper into the zone, he has priority over anyone on this edge if the zone was to pull away from them, which basically means he has an easier time rotating and he can rotate before them. So right here, Acorn is just scouting ahead on this next rotate, looking towards the next zone, and this is what Acorn can see. The zone is over here somewhere, and all of these people, everybody in front of him on the way to zone, they're all closed, right? No one is looking towards him, so it looks like a free rotate. He can just run down here, use these walls for cover, and make his way towards this next zone. So that's exactly what he does, makes his way out of the box, but he makes a little mistake here, jumping quite high with the bat, leaves himself basically flying in the air as this guy opens, and he can't do anything to stop getting shot. So he takes a bit of damage there, and he makes the right decision just to pause on this rotate. And even though he did get shot, this is already good progress, making his way towards the next zone and getting ahead of the rest of the lobby. So he scouts a bit more, and once the rotate looks free, he just runs along this low ground, gets himself into the zone, and just like we mentioned earlier, he goes a bit deeper, right? He doesn't want to box up on the edge where everybody else is. So the 9th zone has just pulled, and it's pulled towards this dead side. And this is a perfect example of the priority that I was talking about a minute ago. Acorn is boxed up here, and this is the edge that he came in on. So if he had stayed on this edge and boxed up alongside all of these other people, then he would be in a bad situation. But because he went a tiny bit further, he's now ahead of them. He has that priority where he can just run towards this new zone without them blocking him or being in his way, right? He has a pretty free rotate. There's only like a couple of people sort of in his way on the way to this next zone. Whereas if he was back here, then he'd be stuck with all of this congestion and it would be harder to rotate. And he makes the right decision here, just heading to this new zone as soon as it's pulled, getting ahead of everyone else in the lobby and trying to get his positioning good for this next zone. So if we take a look now, Acorn is completely on this front side. He got ahead of everyone else. And all of these other people are still back here on this backside, still trying to rotate towards this new zone. And Acorn's in the perfect position to look back and hold people and try and get some free kills. So Acorn's just looking back here, trying to get some kills. But he makes one big mistake right here. Sort of a wide edit, looking back towards the rest of the lobby. And he exposes himself to quite a lot of people. And he does get punished for this, taking about 100 damage. So now he has to stop and heal up, and he's not able to look back at people rotating. So when you're looking back, make sure you only do like window edits or safe edits where you're not exposing yourself to so many different people at the same time. So just like the 9th zone, the 10th zone has also pulled very far, and it's pulled towards this dead side. So once again, Acorn is going to make the decision just to rotate straight away and get ahead of all of these other players. Acorn's now rotating more towards this 10th zone, and as you see right here, he looks up towards height, and he doesn't see anyone up there. So he's going to head up, try and make his way up a few layers, and try and make a play for height. Now the replay ends up lagging a bit, so we can't see what happened there, but it looks like another player is challenging him for it. So Acorn's just going to give it up, as he only has 300 wood, and he's not really going to be able to hold it with that many mats. Now unfortunately for him, this player on height, Possessed, starts griefing Acorn a little bit because he's on 2nd height. Now he's in a really rough situation. 6 builds left on the backside, but he has this Chug Jug. It's like a failsafe. You can tank storm with these whites, look for kills from here, and he spots some damage over here. This guy's white, makes for a really easy kill, especially with this collateral AR. You can just bleed bullets through and get kills so easily in the end game. Now he's up to like 200 mats, nothing crazy. Doesn't want to go for height, obviously. He doesn't have the mats to fight for it, so he makes a decision, drop down to low ground and try and find some more kills, as he does need another refresh. If you're ever in desperate need of a refresh, low ground is probably the best place to go. Everyone's kind of scuffed. You'll be able to get some easy kills and get siphon mats, like we see right here. Not the craziest refreshes, but it's just enough for him to keep playing this game out. Now I like what he does here. The zone is pulling down this sort of hill, and a new layer of low ground is appearing. So he's going to drop down first, claim this low ground, and just create some space. I really like this layer change. This player drops down onto his wall on the low ground. Acorn obviously makes a very safe edit, not taking a big wide 50-50 edit. Really nice window edit where the opponent can't see him. Now once again, another player on the low ground just holding their pump out. Acorn once again makes another safe edit. Plays this right. Gets a really easy kill there. Now it's a 1v1. Acorn builds up, takes the high ground, as this other opponent has 0 builds. So this should be a really easy kill for him to get here. Just taking his time, playing it safe, looking for the right angles. Goes from a right hand peek here. 150, and he wins the final 1v1. Thank you guys so much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you're interested in a private one-to-one coaching session with me, then you can check out the first link down in the description.